Hi, everybody. Today is Friday, August 14th, and welcome to week 22 of the Genus in Focus videos. My name is Sue Talbot, and I'm a partner and portfolio manager here at Genus. And with me is Wayne Michelle, who is our CEO and Chief Investment Officer. So let's get started. Our topic this week is what about the post-pandemic world? So Wayne, I wanted to ask your take on two headlines this week, and the first one being on Tuesday, Russia claimed to have the world's first coronavirus vaccine. So how did the markets react, and do you think this is a game changer?
Yeah, they call it the Sputnik vaccine, first one to go into orbit. So yeah, it's more of a political stunt, I would say. Putin, it meant to actually build up Putin's fame and their prowess, I guess, in Russia. It doesn't mean much. They basically avoided the third stage testing here, so they probably will go ahead and use it in Russia, I presume. But and they'll do a live run, I guess, rather than doing a third stage. I don't think it's going to really change the game that much. The market kind of yawned at it, and just another one out there, another shot on goal, if you will. And we'll see. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. But they really haven't gone through all the rigor to make this thing official.
Do you think this is going to put pressure on other countries to try and fast track a vaccine? I think globally there's about 100 vaccines currently under development.
I don't think so. I don't think it's not at all. I think most other countries are pretty concerned about procedure and official procedure on the health side. So I don't see it really impacting or anybody following the same pattern.
And how is Genus positioned when a real vaccine is announced?
Well, when a real vaccine is announced, we anticipate there'll be more of a risk-on environment, more of a value-driven environment. And I think you'll see the financials starting to move in that, and more of the cyclicals and economic sensitive names. And of course, all the COVID winners will probably take a bit of a break. So we have a bit of a barbell portfolio. We do have a lot of the COVID winners, but we're moving into some of the value names as well. We've been moving up our value exposure over the past couple of months. So we're kind of on the fence. We're waiting, and we still think it's going to take some time here, and that growth is still going to be the winner over the next few months. But when there is more visibility, value will have a run here at some point in time into next year.
Okay, so the second headline I wanted to ask you about is that Joe Biden has picked Kamala Harris as his running mate. So were the markets at all surprised by this?
I don't think so. I don't think it was a game changer. I think that the Biden team, like a good football team, are doing what you do when you have the lead. They're trying to run the clock out, and they're putting in a very solid defensive back who's going to hold on to the ball and not fumble it. And so, she's perceived as being low risk and will help maintain his lead, I think. And so he made a wise choice, the obvious choice. And it's not a game changer, but it's going to help him maintain his lead.
So on a related note, I read an article that said if Biden is elected, certain stocks will benefit, and they are the ESG and renewable names, since the $2 trillion Green New Deal is central to his campaign. So what is your take on this, given we do have clients that are invested in our fossil-free and impact strategies?
Well, Biden he won't be so capital friendly. He's going to raise taxes, et cetera, but he's definitely going to be environmental friendly. And so I think you'll see the ESG names, the fossil-free names, do well if he does win. And I think it'll have an impact, obviously, on the energy side, on financials. Elizabeth Warren is all over financials in terms of more regulations there. So it'll impact those areas, and I think it'll definitely help the greener part of the equation, and help the ESG and fossil-free stocks.
Okay, so since the theme this week is the post-pandemic world, can you share with us your top 2 or 3 observations in which the world has changed or will change post-pandemic?
Well, number one is there's been a massive acceleration into the digital economy. It's probably jumped 5 years in terms of people buying things. And that's not going to change. I think it's going to go into teaching, education as well. It's going to jumpstart in that space as well. It's going to cause major changes in some of these areas and really accelerate the whole digital economy. That's big. And with that comes, I'd say, a second change, and that is less travel. People are going to work, they can work from their home. I think half the population will be working from home longer term. And you're seeing a migration from cities into the suburbs. And with that, people have, with COVID, and they've been locked in. I think they're getting tired of their same drapes. They're getting tired of not having a gym. They're going to want to move into bigger places, and we're seeing that take place right now. So this nesting thing is going on in terms of bigger homes and homes in the burbs where you can live and do a lot of what you do. You can work, live, and exercise, I guess, are going to be long-term trends. And I think technology is just helping that happen. And the pandemic obviously just kickstarted the whole move into Zoom meetings and working remotely and that kind of thing. And so we're not going to go back, even if there is a vaccine. And it's going to put a squeeze on some of the bigger cities, I think, longer term.
So you mentioned less travel. So do you think the demand for, or the continuing less demand for oil and gas will continue then?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think the airlines are going to come back the same way they were in the past. In terms of business travel, it's definitely going to go down. Maybe vacation travel will come back once the coast is clear. But you look at the long-term 4 or 5 years, futures, the long-term market's projecting definitely lower prices. And there could be a big bounce if the global economy takes hold next year. But longer term, we'll have less consumption of energy as well. And more technology will hit as well, I think, which will also impact energy consumption as well.
And speaking of technology, you mentioned yesterday that, there's some jobs that are going to be erased forever. However, there is, job growth in certain sectors, and technology being one of them.
Absolutely. With this massive transformation from things being delivered to your home to and more Zoom meetings, and suddenly every single corporation that wants to sell to their customers and have things delivered require more technology. So they're spending CapEx on technology, and there's a belief that spending is going to mitigate a lot of the jobs lost in those entertainment, leisure areas and travel areas.
Okay, so we want to keep these short, so we'll end it here. Thanks, Wayne, for your insights, and thanks everybody for watching. So please contact your portfolio manager if you have any questions, and have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you all next week.